Hello everyone, welcome to Scorcher Toys at AnyMoon.com's transformation guide for Arcadia's 1/60 scale VF-0 toys. These are a little different from the Yamato VF-0 toys, and I have separate transformation guides for those toys. We are going today from Battroid to Gearwalk back to fighter mode. So if you've had your toy on display, don't want to grab your instructions, I am going to walk you along the way. To begin, there are little flaps that come down to cover the cavities in the front. We're just going to fold those flaps up, like so. We can go ahead and press our head down. It's on a little extension joint. So we just push it down. We can turn the toy around. We're going to open up the wings. We're going to bring the backpack down a little bit, and then we are going to bring out this trap door here. And it's freed up like so. It's going to need to be flush for Gearwalk and fighter mode. We can just open it up for the time being. If you left the pitot tube on your toy in Battroid mode, you can now rotate it out of the way, pop your legs free, etc., etc. But what I'm going to recommend you do is actually just remove the pitot tube, or go get it out of the box you've stored it in while it's been in Battroid mode, and then put it off to the side. We will grab it again when we get a little further along in transformation. Now I'm going to put my hands on the hips and apply a little pressure back of the nose cone here, and that frees up that swing arm. We can then continue on forward and bring the nose cone out, close that trap door, and then press upward to bring those cavity fillers up, and you get a nice sealed nose cone like so. And then I'm going to just grab the chest and pull down on the cockpit to get that fully extended downward, and then we can focus on bringing the head through. Your toy should look like this right now, and what we're going to do is just bring that head laser all the way forward, and that'll just lay flat across the top of the head. And then there's a neck plate underneath the head that is a hinge, and we can just bring that hinge downward. And as we do this, we're going to straighten out airplane mode. Going to bring that head down. It should just, that laser will just narrowly go underneath. Once we are underneath, we can spin the head around. We could settle it in, and we can bring down these trap doors, which are a little tricky. They might pop off on you, but they should tab in to the black piece underneath, and that tells you you've got everything lined up properly. And you will see the head will snug right in, filling that cavity perfectly. Now we can turn the toy back over. We can close this trap door here, line up these tabs with the slots in front of them, and bring the chest back, and just apply a little bit of pressure to the heat shield to get that to straighten out, and then bring the whole chest back, and you will find everything just lining up. Make sure that trap door is lined up. Then we have this tab on top of the cockpit area. And once we get that in position, the whole top of the plane will be there. So now I need to go underneath, apply a little pressure upward to my below my chest area here. And then that tab will just sink right in, clicking into place. And now that whole fuselage area is nice and stiff, although I do have to reapply my leg. I was using the reactive armor on this toy last, so I've got the slotted fuel tanks on top. So I'm just going to go ahead, get a finger in there, pop it off, and replace with the smooth fuel tanks for fighter and Gearwalk mode, and obviously do the same on the other side. If you have a leg fall off during transformation or at any other point with your toys, I do have an instruction guide on how to repair that leg. Now moving on to Gearwalk mode, we are going to focus on the legs. We're going to extend them at the knee. We are going to extend them at the foot. This can be very stiff. Open it back up, get an angle to it. At the hip, we are also going to extend it all the way and repeat on the other side. You can see the hips are on a swing bar here. It's all metal, it's nice. It needs to come up and bring them forward to this connection right here. And since there's a double hinge going on, we're going to need to rotate them around so we can get that metal bar more towards the front near the head. And you can see it needs to be pretty much fully extended forward. So keep rotating till you get there. And then once you do, you're going to get them to lock right into place via that big black clip. Hopefully you can see that in there. And there are pegs on top that fit into slots. So we can go ahead and get those into position as well. And there you are. You should have nice firm connection. Well, you don't always get that. Now obviously we need to rotate or bring the backpack down. We can bring our wings back so we can rotate our arms out, and then you can bring those shoulder armors down a little bit to get that nice wing splay that you'd probably want. And then we also have a gimmick inside the canopy here, so in the cockpit. So I'm going to go ahead and lift up on the canopy glass. Let's reinstall that immediately, because you don't need to fully remove it. There we go. And then we're going to carefully bring the seat forward. Get that into position. Now I don't have a pilot figure in there, but obviously there could be one. All right, now we've got that in position. We can grab our pitot tube and just connect that to the front. And you should have gearwalk mode. Obviously you could add missiles, you could remove the compressor fan covers, you could put the pilot in. These are all things you would do right now to dress up gearwalk mode, but we're going to continue on to fighter, and we're going to start with the hand. You're going to take your hand, you're going to bring the pinky all the way in, you're going to bring the thumb in, and you're going to close up all of the other fingers. Then you're going to get it so that the back of the hand goes along the longest part of the arm, and you are going to push it in like so. You're going to straighten out your arm, and you're going to get it flush with the shoulder armor in the back, and repeat on the other side. Alright, now we want to bring our arms up and around. So what we're going to do is just kind of pull up at the base of the arm and start swinging it back. And now what you're going to do is run immediately into a leg. So you got to push inward kind of at the knees, which will pop the intakes free, and just to lift up a little bit. And just give yourself a little bit more leeway. You can bring the arm up like so to get it past that triangle. And if you only had one of them to do, it would be super easy. You would just come right back in front, kind of tuck it underneath the head. But it gets a little more complicated because you have to bring the second around, and it needs to occupy almost exactly the same space. So you need to apply a little upward pressure as you bring it through. The shoulder armors might kind of run into each other a little bit. But it should ultimately get to a place where it recesses into that back plate. The arms line up. If you're going to install your gun, now would be a good time to do it. And they tuck right in behind the head, the shoulders do. And once you got all that done, you can just reapply the hip intakes by pressing down and pegging them into position like so. One of the trickier parts on your way to gearwalk mode is that you have to lift up this hook and slide a lever back. Going back to fighter mode, all you have to do is push the boosters in. That makes things a little bit easier. And then you want to bring your backpack up and around, and you do have that plate that's going to go in between the arms. Then you're going to open up the fins, the vertical stabilizers I should say, and then recess them back so that they sit flush against the body of the craft. So looking at the bottom of the toy, you want to make sure your arms are pinched together firmly. You're going to make sure your fingers don't get caught by the backpack as you bring it back, and that those fists go right into those cavities, which is all good there. Then we want to take our leg and get it into the fighter mode position. We're going to push in the foot. We are going to bring the kneecap out, and then push in that extension as well. And then we can just push down near the gear walk joint. You'll see there's a peg that goes into a slot in the back. Just get your leg straight and it will peg right in. And then there is a peg on the interior of the leg that goes into these slots on the side of the backpack. So you're going to make sure that's getting lined up too. And once that happens, you're going to be all good, and repeat with the other leg. The two most obvious fine-tuning items you're going to have to deal with are the pitot tube in the front, and in handling it, you might just knock it right back out of place, and then the rear thrusters, kind of getting them lined up since they are the feet, and they do have a lot of articulation. You want to get those nice and straight looking for your fighter mode. You might have some issues with the vertical stabilizers. You want to get them nice and symmetrical to each other. This area might be a little bumpy on yours. It certainly is on mine. I wish I could get a little bit more flush, but no matter what I do, I cannot. So that's a little bit of a bummer. You might have a gap back here. You can try pushing in your nose cone a little bit, or raising the nose cone a little bit, and that might solve that gap for you. And there you go. You'll be in fighter mode. I have a couple gaps at the intakes where they connect. They don't connect as firmly as I would like. That's always been another little QC quirk of mine. So don't drive yourself nuts if you have the same problem. Your toy just isn't going to connect as tight as you would like, and there's nothing you could do about it. There you go. You're in fighter mode. Thanks for checking out my video. I hope it helped. Check out anymoon.com for all of my articles, and as always, thanks for watching.